proof that it's a failure. It takes time. One, you can't even use this series as the indicator. This is a 4 seed versus a 5 seed. Like, if you blink, they damn near the same team. I understand the star power makes you emotionally react differently, but if you look at what they did in terms of body of work, a lot of people underestimated OKC, and now you're starting to see that you may have been in the wrong. Look at this from what you said, and I said it in the last block, how the playoffs are different ball game. The playoffs, different complete season. And they're all black belts out there, just different degrees. And if you can't respect your opponent fully, maybe Houston, after that Game 5, reading the press clippings, realizing, oh, this is going to be easy, looking forward to the Lakers series, which everyone anticipates and everyone expects. But Chris Paul had to go out there and show you why he is an MVP candidate, why he did go to OKC and make it happen with a young roster full of former Clipper greats. We got CP3 out there. We got my boy Gallinari out there. We got SGA. Like, everybody's out there. We got squad out there. And it just seems like Houston right now is saying, we are talented and we expect to move on. But as we just talked about in the last block, you got to go out there and make it happen.
Man, I think both of y'all are being very unusually kind. Not unusual for you, Tristan, but for Marcellus, you got to make this make sense for me.
Oh.
This combo is proving to be a failure, but not just because of the series. We all have recency bias. Remember, they shipped Chris Paul off to OKC and left him for dead. Like, we didn't even think Chris Paul was going to stay in OKC. And just to make sure I wasn't tripping, last night, I do my work, I do my research, I read the articles after the trade between the Rockets and the Thunder. Who were the winners? It said James Harden was a winner. Daryl Morey was a winner. Mike D'Antoni was a winner. Russell Westbrook was a winner. Who are the losers? Chris Paul. That was literally it. The Thunder have overachieved. The Rockets have underachieved. But furthermore, Tristan, you got to help me out with this because you're the basketball expert. You should be the basketball savant. How dare we think that you can take a perennial scoring leader, ball-centric player in James Harden, combine him with another scoring champion, ball-centric player in Russell Westbrook, and be like, oh, you know what? We're going to take two wrongs, and surely this will make a right. This series isn't just the indicator. I'm not going to sit here with recency bias and say, well, because the Thunder are overachieving, that this series is enough to say it. The combination was really a failure from the jump. This series is just a magnifying glass, which is showing the world, wait a second, this shouldn't even be going to 7.
I mean, listen, they've had success with each other in OKC, so they know how to play with each other. And obviously, you know, it's no different than with D-Wade and Bron. You know, people had those same questions. Can D-Wade and... Well, listen here, man. Those are two MVPs, you know, so we're going to give them the respect, all right?
Okay.
No, but people had the same questions about the Heat with, you know, with LeBron and D-Wade. People had their questions. Who's going to take the last shot? Who's going to have the ball with the game on the line? So I think for them, you know, it's playoffs are all about matchups, so you never know. And I think for their situation, it's, you know, they did have a lot of turnovers, so they have their reasons. But the reason why I thought OKC had the advantage is just because the complementary players I like a little bit more than Houston's, just because, you know, you have Dennis Schroeder, SGA, who's my guy, the Canadians, my young fella right there. And then you got Steven Adams. I think all those guys are great pieces where if they all play well, it's going to be tough for Houston to beat. So I can't just say in this series, you know, this determines whether Russ and James don't work. But also, first of all, if they played against the Utah Jazz, Utah Jazz didn't want no smoke with the Rockets.
Hey, you can't say first of all 2 minutes into your combo now, Tristan. You should have led with.
Oh, listen here. That's 6 months at Texas. 6 months at Texas. That's what happens, you know.
Wait, Tristan, I got something. No, I got something because I'm confused. I'm confused. You're starting to confuse me, sir. You can't have a team that has 2 MVPs, NBA MVPs of the last 3 MVPs, and then now tell me that a team with your Canadian homeboy in the Thunder should be able to beat said team. I understand that basketball is a team sport. Now, it's truly lesser of a team sport than other team sports that we cover on this show, but I will still give you that basketball is a team sport. But you can't sit here and tell me that you're picking the Thunder to beat the Rockets, yet say that the combo of Harden and Westbrook isn't a failure.
Because about the matchups. This would be a totally different conversation if they're playing, if the Rockets are playing against Utah. It's all about matchups. Just because.
You got
No, because everything is, listen, it's 5-on-2. You're basically saying you got other guys. Like, you got PJ Tucker guarding Steven Adams. There's a mismatch right there. You got SGA and Daniel House. Okay, we're going to go SGA. Like, it's just, two guys, yes, they can carry you and win you a lot of games. But when it comes to the playoffs, your complimentary guys got to step up. So, like, Daniel House, PJ. No, KCP had 14 and 16. We know those numbers. You saw those numbers right there. Dwight Howard, 11 and 8, 3 blocks. Come on now.
Whatever.
Come on now. Those numbers are all important. So the complimentary players got to step up.
Look, I'm not even going in the weeds with y'all. It ain't that damn deep. Look, you got to understand that there is a certain level of reverence you pay when you are introduced to another great on your roster. Everyone sits there from the outside and just thinks how we're going to add that talent with that talent and just get more talent, and it's just going to be easier. But there also is an integration, and it's a process. Dwayne Wade and LeBron went through that in his first year. Now, they made it to the finals, but they didn't win the finals in part because they even speak on this of how to respect somebody but not go so far as the reverence. We saw it in the last possessions of that game where, in typical order, James Harden should have the basketball. What was happening? Russell Westbrook was taking the ball. And you know what happens? When you can't just say alpha, beta, because it's two alphas, that becomes an interesting dynamic when you're going against a dog, as we just saw with Chris Paul. So I'm not saying it's a failure because in the initial stages, those are things that need to get worked out. But who knows? They go out there and win the next game, Game 7, and then they are past that hurdle. They are past
Then they got to beat the Lakers.
And then they got the Lakers.
Good luck.
I mean, it's going to be a good luck. If it's OKC or Houston, it's
you know
good luck.
what?
But that is something to put in your mind.
Y'all remember in high school, we'll go to high school, when your teacher would say, define a word without using that word, right? Marcellus, define this without using this. You defining failure without using the word failure. I mean, that's exactly what you did when talking about these Rockets.
Failure?
You just said, well, they got Harden and they got Westbrook and they're trying to figure out how to combine them, as if we didn't see the Warriors bring Durant in, another superstar.
Oh, that's not this.
Two-time MVP.
That's not this.
Come on, don't you go there with that. That ain't the same thing.
It's not the same thing because Steve Kerr even just said it this week. Kevin Durant is the most talented basketball player I've ever seen, including Michael Jordan. You know what that meant to Steph?
Go ahead.
Steph said, he better than me, but I'm gonna let this man go get it. Yes.
Tristan, let me tell you. Tristan, let me get him. There's a difference.
They ain't the same.
There's a difference between being the most talented and being the best. Steph Kerr was very intentional in saying he's the most talented. He ain't say he was the best because Tristan played with the best.
But Steph said he was the best because he lets KD take over that team.
James Harden might be the best scorer, but just because he's the best scorer, just because Russell Westbrook might be the most athletic, does not mean all of a sudden that those two best.
Until you prove my point.
No, I'm not proving
That's the beef that's going on. Harden looking at Westbrook like you ain't better than me, and I bet you Westbrook like, yeah, I am.
Which is a failure. You just saying they looking at each other with beef.
What if they get past this round?
What ifs? What ifs?
We're not there yet. So why are we condemning it? You did this. You already got a viral video of you condemning the Lakers after their Game 1 loss. You gonna do that again?
I'm not condemning.
You're not condemning. What are you doing?
Okay. That viral video still has salt.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah, listen, Game 7 is going to determine everything. Yeah, you definitely switched up after Game 1. But yeah, we're going to let you slide with that, Archer. We're going to let you slide.
Yeah.
But no, like we said, this is Russ's, third game back with the team. He's probably not, like you said, like Wiley said, someone's got to be like, okay, we both MVPs. All right, who's going to be the top dog? You know, I still love you, respect you, still an MVP, but
in a close,
why can't they? If it's about
my point, Tristan, you and Marcellus are proving my point. The dissension, the fact of remember what happened last night. What do we see? Okay, Russell Westbrook, he takes the ball down the court, air balls. Okay, next time, James Harden, he takes.